Good evening, wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are on the face of this very planet. We welcome you this very evening, not minding how terrible things are in terms of the very unrelenting brutality, primitivity, and uncivilized conduct of the security forces of the damnable Zoological Republic. We continue to propagate this very gospel of redemption, not minding my own, and should I say, Biafran loss, in the passing of my father who has now joined his ancestors, and also the mourning of my mother who passed away some months ago. We must continue, because as they told me when they were alive, that Biafra is a priority, that regardless of whatever may befall them, that I must ceaselessly and relentlessly pursue the restoration of Biafra. That is the only way that I can honor them. And this evening, that is exactly what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what it is, regardless of the magnitude of the difficulty or the problem. Biafra is number one. We must serve her in every way that we can, with every sinew, with every strength, and with every courage and conviction. For Biafra must come in our time, or else this generation is a failure as those that went before it. That is why we must spread this very gospel this evening. That is why death cannot hold us back. That is why anything the zoo is doing cannot hold us back. That is why Biafra must be restored. I assure you, we are focused, we are determined, we are resolute, we are unrelenting, and nothing can shake us. They know we are unbribable. Even our lawyers cannot be bought. Barrister Ejiofor cannot be compromised, it cannot be bought. That was why they raided his home. But before I go on any further, I must welcome each and every one of you, because unlike any other radio station coming out of Africa, ours is very, very special. This is Radio Biafra, listened to across the entirety of this very planet, every time zone. If you're not listening to us, if you're not on Facebook and you're listening live via Radio Biafra page, you must be on FM in Biafra land. If you are not, you're listening to us on our mobile app. If you're not on Radio Biafra app, you're listening to us via satellite. If you're not on satellite, that is a plethora of platforms through which and by which you can receive Radio Biafra. And we are sure and very certain that millions of you are tuned in this evening for another expose and address from my humble self, that you may know the truth, and that truth will set you free. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. I welcome you, and as I do so, I mightily encourage you to welcome those around you. You cannot be coming to this very fine university, and I call it the greatest in the whole world, if you don't have your pen and paper and a dose of common sense with you. The zoo cannot understand it because they are not civilized enough to do so. When you tell them the truth, they call it hate speech. When they direct their hatred towards you, it is love by another means, and that means always leads to death. That type of charade can never work with this very noble family of IPOB, neither will it work with Biafrans across the entire globe. That is why we maintain our momentum. That is why we insist on strict discipline, absolute and total commitment to the core principles that underpin this very movement we have embarked upon. Absolute and unflinching discipline. If you're not disciplined enough, you cannot be part of us. You can never ever be. Because we have very resourceful, very determined, and well-endowed enemies, I tell you. Without discipline, we will be decimated in a matter of weeks. That is why you will also listen out for a very special announcement this very evening, because some people who have taken it upon themselves to become insubordinate, they will be dismissed live on air this very evening. We are continuing relentlessly. We are not going to stop, not now, not tomorrow, not next. We will embark upon this very journey until victory is assured, until our liberation is complete, until the proclamation of the sovereignty of Biafra have come to endure. Until that happens, we are not relenting, not one iota. We are not going back. Everything we have said have come to pass. Absolutely everything that I prophesied on this very platform behind this microphone, by the grace of Elohim, they have all come to pass. Because we see in the future things that mere mortals cannot see. We see it. Before we proceed, we must pray. And the prayer this evening is going to be slightly different because I lost my father, as you all may know by now, as a result, or should I say as a direct consequence of the activities of the damnable Zoological Republic in my house on the 14th of September of 2017, widely written about and widely read also, I believe. It has taken its toll on us, but I believe that that is the way that Elohim wants it, because when we started this very movement, I said it, that I will sacrifice everything sacrificable to get Biafra, including my parents, those who were with us from the beginning, those who started listening to this very noble platform from the beginning will testify to this very prophecy. I said it, I will sacrifice my parents if it means that Biafra will come. That is why I know for certain that the death of my parents is indicative that something very positive is about to happen in the lives of those who are still living. I will pray this very day that Chukwukikabiama may have mercy upon the living. Because my father was a great man, the man who taught me every moral that I have today, guiding me. I learned from my father that it is a good thing to be incorruptible. I remember in 1979 when MPN were swarming all around him. They gave him then a car, a Peugeot, I'll never forget. Inside the boot of the Peugeot was stacks upon stacks of money. They asked him to defect, to abandon Mbakwe and defect to Wakamokoro of MPN. I remember it very vividly, like it was yesterday. And my father said no, that he will not take it, that he will remain with MPP and make sure not only Honorable Gio from my village, that he will go through as the House of Assembly member, that also Mbakwe himself will be elected as the governor of Imo State then. Because Mbakwe, it transpired, my father told me, was a war veteran and a genuine Biafran, that he will not abandon his people. That MPN was Al-Majli party, that he will never ever consider abandoning his people. That was where I learned most of the things that I know today, that it is good to be honorable in all that you do. That is why the road in front of my house is not there till this very day. All parts of my village, but the one that leads to my house is not, because my father, Ejiofor'S Kanu, could not be bought. They didn't buy him when he was alive, and they cannot buy him now either. That I can assure you. We are prepared for this. And he told me what to do in the case that we wake up and we don't find him anymore. That is exactly what I'm going to do, and that thing is Biafra. He taught me not to have any sentiment when it comes to Biafra, that the only thing that matters is the end result, that Biafra is liberated. That is the best way that I can honor him. That is the best way that myself and my siblings, my family can honor him. That is the best way that my community can honor him. That is the best way that my clan can honor him. That is the best way that this very noble family that I love so much, this IPOB. Sometimes I see IPOB not as human beings, but as angels sent from heaven to do the will of the Almighty Creator of the universe. We must honor them. We must honor my parents by working very seriously, diligently, and determinedly towards the restoration of Biafra. Therefore, I pray in the language of the ancients, because my father is a traditional ruler. You know me, I don't like the word king, because I believe that every man and woman is born equal. I don't believe in that dichotomy. So I see my father as the leader of his people and as a custodian of our culture and our tradition. I will pray in the language of the ancients. I will pray in Igbo language. Those listening all over the world must bear with me, because that is the language of heaven. When we say it, Alamajri, they go mad. All these Janjaweed from the desert, they don't understand because they're not blessed. Everything that we preach on this platform is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That is a fact of life. We have not lied before. We don't intend to start now. That is why we are whiter than white and whiter than snow. If you know that thing we did, you come out and say it in the open, so we can respond to you. This very evening we pray for the safekeeping of this Biafra restoration project, for the preservation of those who are innocent, for the repose of the soul of those that have fallen along this very journey, and that they may be watching over us from heaven, from the right hand of Chukwukika Abiyama, God Almighty himself. Perhaps if they cannot protect us here, they can do so from heaven in spirit. Therefore, Chukwukika Abiyama pụrụ m ihe niile, onye mmụọ na mmadụ na-efe, onye na-enweghị ihe ọ bụla eji atụnyere ya n'ihi na ọ bụ naanị gị bụ ọkaka, ọ bụghị bụ mmalite na ọgwụgwụ. Ụfọdụ ndị na-amaghị ihe si na Chineke adịghị, mgbe na-ele ndị dị etu anya, mgbe na-eri uju n'isi ha n'ihi na ndị dị etu amaghị ihe. Anyị wee na-asị na onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, ịkụniri wee sị ka ihe wee dị ihe wee dị. Ọ bụ ebee ka okike si wee pụta ma ọ bụghị site n'aka nsọ ya onye nwe m? Anyị wee na-erubere gị isi, wee na-akpọ ọkụ gị, na-asị onweghị onye dịka gị Chineke nna nke igwe. O nweghị ihe ọ bụla eji ama atụ sị na ọ bụ ya yiri gị. Ọ bụ naanị gị kere ihe niile kere eke, mana onweghị onye kere gị. Nna nke bere naanị gị masịrị ihe niile. Dịka uru gị David si wee kwuo sị nke ọma mee ya ekele gị, nke ọjọọ mee ya ekele gị. Agbanyeghị na nna m na nne m anọghị n'ụbọchị nketa, onye m na Chineke nna nke igwe, ana m enye aha nsọ gị otuto na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma. Ana m asị na ihe niile i mere dị mma, Chineke nna. Ihe niile i mere mara mma, onye nwe m. Ọ bụ naanị gị na-eweta, naanị gị na-ewere, nna nke igwe. Anyị wee na-eti mkpu ọṅụ, wee na-asị na aleluya na-ada n'igwe, n'ihi na ndị nsọ agawago n'igwe nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Ụfọdụ ndị dị ndụ agaghị aghọta ya n'ihi na ha anọghị n'ime mmụọ. Anyị onwe anyị bụ ndị kere wee tinye anyị n'ime mmụọ, eze ebube dị ngọzi, bụ ndị na-ekwere gị ukwu ọṅụ n'ụbọchị nke taa, na-asị gị nna nke ebere dị ngọzi, biko bịa ka iwe ndị na mkpụrụ obi ha n'udo. Lekwa ụmụ IPOB bụ ndị lara azụ na njem nke anyị na-aga, eze ndị eze, bịa ka iwe ndị na mkpụrụ obi ha n'udo. Lekwa ụmụ gị n'ụwa niile, nna nke dị ngọzi, onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, bụ ndị na-erube isi n'ụkpụrụ nke gị onwe gị si wee hazie ya. Bịa ka iwe leta ndị dị etu a, malite ọmụmụ ha na ezinụlọ ha, nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Bịakwa ka iwe bulie IPOB elu, wee karịa ka anyị onwe anyị si wee tụọ anya ya, Chineke nna nke dị ngọzi. Ọ bụ gị onwe gị na-etinye okwu nsọ nke gị n'ime ndị gị, bụ ndị gị onwe gị kpọrọ okwu, nna nke ebere dị ngọzi, nke anyị onwe anyị bụ ofu n'ime ha. Nna nke ebere, biko na onweghị okwu ọbụla nke si m kwuo nke anaghị abịa na mmezu. Ọ bụ site n'ime mma gị na ebere gị, amara gị na ọmịiko gị, eze ebube dị ngọzi. N'ọba asụsụ ndị gboo ka anyị na-asụ, ụfọdụ apụghị ịghọta ya, nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Chineke nna nke igwe, biko bịa ka iwe mere anyị amara gị, ka uche obi gị wee mezuo n'ime ndụ anyị. Ọ bụghị ka ike nka ka anyị wee mee, kama ọ bụ ka isi wee chọọ ya, nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Anyị wee na-arịọ ka Biafra wee bịa na mgbe nke anyị, ka ihere wee bụrụ nke ndị iro, ka ihe gị wee bata n'ime itiri bụ Biafra, nna nke ebere dị ngọzi, n'ihi na obodo ruru unyi wee gbaa ọchịchịrị. ki ihe gị mama gị wee bata ka ọṅụ wee juo anyị obi na Chineke nna nke igwe ka ụmụ gị wee kuru n'ihe wee ghọta n'ezie na ọ bụ gị onwe gị bụ onye bụ anyị n'ihu wee na-aga njem a o nweghị chi ọzọ nke anyị na-efe ewezụga gị anyị anaghị efe arụsị anyị anaghị efe ihe ọbụla eji aka wee mee ọ bụ naanị gị bụ eze ndị eze Elohim Adonai Shaddai Chukwu okike abịa ma bụ onye anyị na-eso nara otuto na nsọpụrụ na ịja ma eluigwe nara otuto na nsọpụrụ na ịja ma onye ọ bụ naanị ya nwanne otu onye Chineke nna nkuzi niile nke ndị agha ebere gị na ngọzi gị amara gị na ọmịiko gị ka anyị na-arịọ n'isi IPOB n'ụwa niile eze ebube dị ngọzi eburuwo m IPOB wee tinye gị n'aka n'abalị ya ma ndị anyị chetara ma ndị anyị na-echetaghị ma ndị pụtara ihe ma ndị lara azụ nna nke ebere dị ngọzi Chineke nna nke igwe ka iwee bịa ka iwee gọzie anyị na njem nke anyị na-aga bụ nke gị onwe gị rọpụtara eze ebube dị ngọzi onweghị mgbe ọbụla anyị ji wee were ike aka anyị wee ku n'ihe si na anyị ga-achọ Biafra eze ebube dị ngọzi ọ bụ site na amara gị Chineke nna nke igwe ka otuto niile na nsọpụrụ niile na nrube isi niile na ikpe isi ala niile na mbuli aha elu dịrị sọsọ ha nsọ onye ga eluigwe n'ụwa Chukwu okike abịa mapụrụ m ihe niile ugbu a ma ọrụ mgbe niile ebi ebi ka anyị na-arịọ ise may their soul rest in perfect peace. We must proceed this evening determinedly as ever, because before we came on air, Amakeko sent me something from the presidency of the zoo. I regard them as the headquarters of misinformation and skullduggery. They commit a crime, they keep asking who committed it. I saw the nonsense they wrote in response to their barbarism and cowardice against Showore. The Nigerian army, DSS, their police, they have never fought any war before. That is a fact of life. The problem that we have, the problem that we will continue to have, is that the way we reason is flawed. When I say it, black people don't understand. Black African people do not understand. There is something defective in our reasoning capacity. The way we process information is fundamentally flawed. That is why we are backwards. Africans, we must ask ourselves this question: why is Africa poor? Why are we backwards? Why is it where we come from no good roads, no hospitals, no schools, no electricity, life? Ask yourself why. The problem lies in the way that we reason. As simple as that. Because the same school that the Europeans went to, the Asians went to, South Americans went to, everybody went to, is the same school that we also attended. Don't forget that. Now, why is it that the end product is always wrong? It's always flawed. Ask yourself that question. Any day you understand it, any day you sit down and you look yourself in the mirror and you say, the way I have been reasoning and processing information is flawed, that day you'll be a changed person. Do you know why the Western world allows criticism all the time? For you to criticize those who are in power, those who are in office. It's because that is how to make them better. I don't allow people to criticize me. I do that first myself. That was why the starting point of the formation of IPOB is that there is something wrong with us in our brain. So we must correct that defective gene in our brain before we can advance. The white man knows this. That is why most of them are against Biafra, because they understand it, that we are the only people who are capable of reasoning at this very level. It is called critical self-appraisal. And why am I starting with this today? Because the way you handle and you process information is very key. That determines a lot about who you are. That determines how you're going to solve a problem. If you stay in a society where you have coal, you have gas, you have oil, you have abundant solar power, or should I say energy from the sun, and you don't have electricity, and you have universities, you have politicians, you have those you foolishly refer to as elites, then there is something wrong with you as a human being. There is something wrong with you as a human being. If you live in a country when the colonial masters were there, you had pipe-borne water. You can go home and open your tap and drink from it. And in the 21st century, your only access to potable water is via a borehole. Then there is something wrong with you and your brain and how you process information. If you sit down in a country as backward as the zoo, and the police come to your house to kill you with the army, and the people, instead of asking the army and the police, what were you doing in the person's house with guns anywhere in the first place? They now turn around to completely ignore those that were killed by these marauding criminals. That society has a problem. Their mental capacity is defective. They have issues processing information the right way, and they will remain backwards forever and ever and ever and ever. Ask yourself this question again. Why was it that in the whole of the world, only in Africa was slavery commercialized to the extent that people sold their children, to the extent that only 5 white people, only 5 of them, they will anchor their ship somewhere in one of the coastal regions of Biafra. Only 5 white men, they will go to the first village, they will recruit us, we black people, whites will recruit us. We now go into the hinterland to catch our own people for them. They'll be there watching us. It's black people that will put chain on black people and drag them to the ship to be shipped away to the Americas or the Caribbean for slavery. And before the Europeans came, the Arabs and the Muslims were coming. Some of you don't know this. There is a market at Nike. Some of you know exactly very well. Why am I digressing a bit? Is for us to try and build some kind of an understanding as to where our problems started from as a people. There is something wrong with the way we reason, black people. There is something wrong with our brain. And this night I'm going to prove it. I am not here to make people feel good. If you don't want to listen to Radio Biafra because I tell you, it's the way he does it. How do you want me to do it? They've been pampering you for the last 200 years, telling you, oh, you're nice, you're sweet, you're intelligent, despite the fact you have no light in your village, no good schools, you're walking about in rags, you can barely feed yourselves. You're telling you, oh, everything is fine. That black is beautiful. I don't subscribe to that rubbish. It's nonsense, pure bunkum. If you cannot demonstrate how beautiful you are, that is pure rubbish to me. I don't believe in sentiment. If you won't listen to Radio Biafra, that's entirely your business. I don't give a damn if you do or not. But the truth is constant. It never changes. And that is what we preach here on this platform. That is what we preach. That is why Radio Biafra is the most listened to radio station coming out of Africa. Everybody listens. In Argentina, professors are sitting down right now to listen to this very broadcast. Because they wonder, are you sure these people are from Africa? Why? Because if I don't castigate myself, I'll never change. Because if somebody else does it, just like Alamajiri, if anybody tells them that Alamajiri, you contribute nothing, Fulani, you contribute nothing to the growth of the zoo, they see it as an attack. They don't go back and sit down and ask themselves, is what these people are saying, is it true? People cover themselves with the cloak of ignorance and cowardice, thinking we'll do the same. As I said before, allow me to repeat, live on air this evening. Alamajiri, Fulani Caliphate, those Janjaweed, they can do whatever they like to preserve the zoo, but Nigeria will break into pieces. The name Nigeria, when I say something, please write it down on a piece of paper. So when it comes to pass, there's something that happened to us, Ejiofor, people will remember and go and dig out the broadcast and say, at so and so date, NNAMD1 said so. Write this one down. By the time we finish with the zoo called Nigeria, the name Nigeria will no longer exist. Write it down on a piece of paper. You don't know how far we have gone. It's not everything will come on air to tell the whole world about. You don't know how far we have gone. And we will continue on this path until the zoo crumbles. Because had the oil in Biafra land been in the north, there will be no Nigeria in the first place. Ordinary presidency, look at the way they're holding it. Imagine if Fulani had oil and coal and gas, it won't happen to us. I'm saying this, I will say, still identifying themselves with the useless nomenclature, Niger Delta, South, to Bendel, and all that rubbish. People who are so stupid they cannot reason very well. Look at the way Fulani is handling power. Customs, immigration, customs their head, immigration, police, army, everywhere, navy, everywhere you go to, it's only Janjaweed and Almajiri from the north. And now I'm asking you this question. If they are behaving this way with ordinary political position, imagine what would have become of everybody had the oil in Biafra land, the oil in Ewewa, in Uguta, in Anambra, the oil in Enugu, the oil in Abakaliki, the oil in Abia, the oil in Imo, the oil in Akwa Ibom, the oil in Cross River, the oil in Rivers and in Bayelsa, the oil in Delta. Imagine if that had been located in the north. Do you think Fulani will talk to you? All of you foolish people talking about one Nigeria, I mean, I believe in one, we Nigerians. I feel sorry for you because you're insane. When somebody says they're a Nigerian, I see them as lower than a vermin. I'm telling you before God and before man. When you say you're a Nigerian, oh, heaven knows you are lower than an animal. I'm telling you the truth. You're telling me that a white man can come and create a nation for you and you will stay in it and be very proud of it. And when they go back to Britain, they're laughing at us. They're saying this, can you see those monkeys? We gave them Nigeria and they're asking, you people, you have no brain, you cannot reason. No brain, your thinking faculties are gone because you're black. You don't criticize yourself. You don't ask yourselves questions. That is why a policeman can leave, or if the police station, go to your first house and go kill people. And what matters is, oh, two policemen are dead. Did you ask the police? There is something where we come from. What were you doing in the man's house? What for with guns and bullets? What for? What crime did he commit? He is a barrister and attorney at law, for goodness sake. And has cases all over the place. In every zoo court, he goes there to defend our people. You went to his house to kill him. You went to his house to kill him. And everybody around there. There's something they did in my house. But as some of the mistakes that we are beginning to make, I will say this thing to all the people of the zoo called Nigeria. All those animals in the zoo, they call themselves Nigerians because they're animals, they cannot reason very well. I warned you all the way since the beginning of this year that what the Fulanis are doing to you was exactly what they did to Hausa people. Some of you are so foolish, you have not even gone back to history to go and research what they did. You know what they do? They pick you off one after the other. They take those who are most vulnerable, those who are very weak. They take them and they cage them. They are holding show with them. Instead of you to fight as a freedom fighter against injustice. What? Showore said this about Jonathan. Do you remember what Showore said about him? You are talking absolute piffle and nonsense. That is how you reason as a black person. Because you cannot reason properly. It doesn't matter. Once you see an injustice being done anywhere on this earth, you rise up and you go against it. That is what makes you a freedom fighter. It's not selective judgment. You select those you like and those you do not like based on what they said 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Are you not foolish? Are you not foolish? You are telling me that in a country that has democracy, some people who don't contribute one dime. I asked an Alamajiri, what does Sokoto State contribute to the coffers of Nigeria? The answer is zero. But they are the ones telling you that they can be president for life. This is not hate speech. People condone, you are condoning them. I don't know if it is out of cowardice or stupidity or misplaced or misguided sense of patriotism. Only God knows in heaven what fuels this level of depravity and stupidity in black people in that part of the world. I don't know what is wrong with you people. There is something wrong in our brain, and this night will correct it. Abalia will fix it this night because there's something wrong with us. They will not ask. People that call themselves newspapers, or should I say journalists in the zoo. Did anybody listen to what Ejiofor said in this video? It had nothing to do with IPOB. Absolutely nothing. Did you hear when Ejiofor said that the area commander, whatever rubbish they call him, the ASP or whatever, you know, came to his house 6:30 a.m. that same morning. Are you listening? Or is Channels Television, are they deaf? Are they deaf to the reality? And I said this thing with every sense of, should I say, responsibility. Because you know me, I always speak the truth. You may not like it, but that's entirely your business. I will always tell you the truth. There is a way that certain sections of Yoruba media behave that you will think they're working for Lucifer. Allow me to repeat. There is a way that certain sections of Yoruba media behave when it comes to Biafran people that leads me to believe that they are not, heaven knows they're not human. They are more than evil. Channels Television wrote, as soon as police arrived at the house, armed men suspected to be IPOB members descended on the police, set ablaze one patrol vehicle and attacked them with rifles and machetes from a Yoruba media. When we say, they say we hate Yoruba, we don't. Fani Kayode is marrying one of our daughters. And the whole world knows I love him. When Fayose came out, we loved him. Paya Debanjo, we went to his birthday. Some of you don't know this. We went to his birthday last year and we supported him. And once people are good, we support once you are good, we support you. We support El Zagzagi to regain his freedom. It doesn't mean we are Muslims. People must understand you must rise up against iniquity and injustice. It doesn't matter who is affected. It just does not matter. It is the right thing to do. That is why OBS will rise up and fight for Chibok girls. Because that was an injustice that she wanted to see corrected. Some of you don't understand this, do you? Because you're black. Some of us schooled in Africa and we don't have any soul. There is no conscience. Why do you think we are backwards in Africa? It's because we have no soul and no conscience. That was why we fought for South Africa to become free. And when they became free, they started killing us. That is why people can forget the treaties they signed and close the borders. That is why people have no regard at all for this so-called Pan-Africanism. They are burning our shops in Ghana and a few other places. Do you see how blacks reason? Do you see there is something wrong with the reasoning capacity of black people? Do you understand it now? The same thing is happening in the zoo. Anybody against taunting Shaore or making fun of him, you are a disgrace, not just to humanity but to yourself, because you're a fool. Do you know when they came after me, not minding that Sahara Reporters was against IPOB, against me when I was arrested? Am I not campaigning for him to come out? I was in the US. Every senator I met in the USA, I said every senator, every congressman or woman I met in the USA, I raised the issue of Shawari. I said all of them, this thing you're seeing happening now, I said personally I did. And I will continue to do it until he's set free. Not that he will be set free so that the editorial dimension of his newspapers and reporters will change. No, not at all. They can write whatever they like. There is somebody who always criticizes me from the US. When I was in the US, I spoke to him. He said, oh, I said, no, continue to write in the manner you're doing. He was shocked. He said, but I criticize you all the time. I said, yes, but continue to do it. Because that will remind me that I have something to do. That there are those I need to disappoint by making sure that Biafra comes in truth and in every honesty. That is how I function. He is an ardent critic of what we are doing and of IPOB, of myself. When I spoke to him on the phone, I told him, please, you must continue in that vein. You don't never ever stop criticizing me. Please continue. Because that's what drives me. But as other black people, once you're criticized, you lose your senses. You start looking for who to lock up. Somebody called for a minor revolution for people to come out and rally that they're not happy. And some of you idiots are supporting the government for clamping down on that very person. You are not well. That is why you have no electricity in your village. That is why you have no running water. That is why some of you went to glorified commercial schools in the name of universities, because you don't reason very well. You don't understand anything. When Delegiwa was writing, as small as I was, I supported Delegiwa until Babangida killed him. Babangida killed him, you did nothing, as usual. Let's move on to 2023, 2098. That is how, is that the only thing they teach you in your schools? Let me not digress too much. Let me go back to Barrister Ejiofor and all the nonsense that the zoo people are doing. They invaded the Barrister Ejiofor's house, everybody knows that very well. But if you look from the way they're writing about it, you will think IPOB actually went to police station and killed police people. Nobody. That is why black people, black Africans are so wicked. Nobody asked the policeman, what did you go to do at Ejiofor's? He's a lawyer, for goodness sake. All of a sudden, Ejiofor is now one IPOB member. Do you see how evil people are? And how deceptive the zoo can be? One Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the only person that brought out his client, his high-profile client from detention. El Zakzaki is still there. Dasuke is still there. Falana is a senior advocate. He's still fighting. Falana, they even insulted him by coming to court to pick up his client. But Ifeanyi Ejiofor is the only man in the history of the zoo under this current zoological republic you have now, under the Daura Caliphate. He's the only person to bring out his client alive, safe and well from a prison. For your information, that is the person they're referring to as one Ifeanyi Ejiofor, a policeman that nobody knows his name. He's referring to Ejiofor that is known all over the world as one Ifeanyi Ejiofor. Why would Ejiofor need to hide from the police? He's committed no crime. I want the world to understand what transpired in Orifite, because all they hear is good, they don't hear come. They are so foolish. They don't pay attention. Because I grew up in the village. There is an adage where I come from. If you don't settle down and go through the facts, you will be misled by channels, television, and some other gutter Yoruba media. Gutter, I call them. A nation that gets its news from channels, television is doomed to fail. Doomed to fail. You will always fail. Because they're full of liars and deceivers. All that matters to a black person is his family. How to take care of his children. You want your children to go to private school, but other people's kids to go to the primary school. So your family will continue to rule forever and ever. Not believe in that rubbish. That is what Channels is trying to do to some of you. Channels is the instrument, is the link through which this Alamajiri Caliphate wants to destroy your brain. They first destroy your brain, they come in, they take your land. The next time you have no home, you have no land, you're finished. Channels, television, evil. They did not quote what Orif the community wrote. They didn't listen to what Barrister Ejiofor had to say. It had nothing to do with IPOB. It's about a village. People, masquerade group. It's nothing to do with IPOB. But all over even people that I respect. And I will not say anything bad about Amnesty International because they're very good, at least impartial. Amnesty International, because the case had to do with IPOB lawyer, it must be IPOB. Amnesty quickly tweeted, IPOB, because are you trying to buy favors from the zoo government? I'm asking Amnesty in Abuja, are you trying to buy favors? Because I don't believe in Okomnasukum Nerunala. If you are not going to stand on the truth, you get away from the road. We move on. I am talking to Amnesty. If you cannot stand and speak the truth, ask the police, what were you doing in Barrister Ejiofor's house? What for? With guns, bullets, everything. Helos, what for? When the same police station, they went to Ejiofor's house. In the morning, 6:30, Ejiofor said, I am coming to see you. It is about a village masquerade. Two people, and that corrupt man that calls himself the Ejiofor and the maker of you people are finished. I'm telling you the truth. You are finished. Now you will know. You remember Amechi Amechi was running his mouth. IPOB said, we got him in Spain. Ask him where his coat is, his jacket. Where it is. He's busy lying. Where is his jacket? I am telling Emeka from today, you're a haunted man. I'm telling you by IPOB. It's an order to IPOB everywhere in the world. Anywhere you get Emeka we'll show him. I preached on Radio Biafra before, for those who don't know Emeka very well. Let me say this. As I told Onyema, I don't say they were those they were not to use as experiment after the war. That is why we celebrate, we remember our heroes every 30th of May. Listen very carefully to what I have to tell you. Listen very, very carefully and attentively. You understand this? What the Al-Majris planned towards the end of the war, with the help of Harold Wilson, the then British Prime Minister, was to kill every male child above 10 years of age. And then groom the other ones in the Caliphate Al-Majri Emirate way of life. And those chosen for the experiment is this Ejiofor you're saying. Go and ask him. When I tell you something, go and do your research. Ejiofor was chosen by them. He was the model of how the Al-Majri wanted to conquer the sensibility of an Igbo man. Get them young, kill all their fathers, their uncles, get them young, nobody to guide them, and train them in Al-Majri way. Ejiofor was one of them. Go and ask. He has brought it to the village. I understand he said he's going to set up a group to fight IPOB. Then they'll be buried alive. I'm telling you the truth. I say this openly. I say it openly everywhere I go to. If you come to kill IPOB from now onwards, we'll kill you. We are not involved in what happened in Ejiofor's house. For your information, go and ask Orif in the community. Go and even ask the police. It was only when they killed themselves that Nasret to say, oh, it must be IPOB, because they know no other group of people have the courage and the determination the way we do in IPOB. When you came to my house and killed 28 on the 14th of September 2017, did we retaliate? We don't retaliate. Did we retaliate? I'm asking you. We had men all over the place that wanted to do many things to the whole of Umuahia. I said no. I said no, don't attack them. That's what they're waiting for. And you see this now? They have forgotten about those killed. They have forgotten that the police came and killed people. No! People in their own homes, police will come and kill them. That one is not news to Amnesty. It is not news to channels, no. It's only them. Do you know why they're shouting police killed by IPOB? Because they want to tell the world, oh, stop supporting them. They're terrorists. They think the world is as stupid as they are. Because the world will ask you, how and where did they attack the police? How, where, when? Then you start explaining, oh, they were in their homes and we went there and we started shooting at them. Then the world will tell you to go to hell, you're a fool. But Channels Television ran immediately and wrote, because they know that it's only IPOB that would destroy that nonsensical zoological republic. That thing that the Fulanis did to the Awasa people, Awasa helped them to do the TVs, those conquered territories. You cannot do it to Biafrans, you cannot. I'm telling Al-Majri till tomorrow morning, Fulani, you cannot do it to Biafra. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. You can have as many Ejiofor's as you like. And the same thing that happened to George Okalo will happen to him. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. About what happened to George Okalo. Of course, nobody is. But all of them, all of you people running around, instead of supporting IPOB, even if you decide to support IPOB through the back door, as they do in the north, support their people. You can't do it. You don't support us. You come out in the open, you castigate us. Then when you get into trouble, your people want us to fight for you. You get us a be now. Oh my God. Is anybody touching Abaribe? Is anybody touching? You know, our people are so, they don't reason, they're so foolish. I'm just watching Obiano. Do you see Abaribe? Is anybody mess with him now? Then you will see how mad we are, how insane we are. Because they understand that Abaribe has not given IPOB one dime. God in heaven is my witness. Not one penny from him. But he speaks the truth. That is all we want. People that speak the truth. Always, regardless of the consequences. Stay on the truth. And our people will recognize where you are and who you are. Did you hear the zoo when they said they went to go and see Showore in DSS custody to beg him, to bribe him, to drop his agitation, and he said no? That's what they always do. When they arrest you, they start to offer you heaven and earth. I said no, I will not take. Well, give me Biafra. Or you give me death. That's what I said to them. And we are heading for a showdown, and I'm sure the whole world knows it. It's only a matter of time. Or should I say it's only a question of time? It will happen. That thing Al-Majri wants, we will give it to them. That thing they want, they will, of course, they will receive it. patrolling around my house, my village, sending Janjaweed, sending terrorists who cannot spell even their names to be patrolling around my village. That is a waste of time. Completely another waste. You went to Ejiofor's house because Emeka told you to go and implicate him because they know we have a case. They always do it when there's a month to a case coming up in Abuja. So nobody will represent IPOB. And then Binta Nyako can do as she pleases. The same people chasing a judge inside a court of law. You animals called Nigerians cannot see. You cannot hear because your foolishness is in your gene, is in your bone marrow. You're so foolish you cannot analyze any information credibly. You can't do it because that is how foolish you are. You don't have any brain, you cannot reason. Somebody is in their house and you yourself writing rubbish on social media. How would it feel like in your house tomorrow morning, or should I say this night, DSS will come shooting anything that moves? How would you feel as a human being? I'm asking them, how would you feel as a human, as a person? How would you feel? They came to my house as a result of what they did. My parents are dead. So you want me to love them? I'm asking, do you want me to love them as a result of what they did? My parents are dead. And tomorrow you want me to love Nigeria and be happy with one Nigeria. They are mad people. We are Africans. We are oh my goodness. We are a disgrace. We need to change the way we reason. We must change the way we reason or else we'll be finished. Look at, since we've been campaigning in America, blacks need to be free till today. The same campaign till today. Because the way we reason is defective. They are selling us in Libya right now, this minute. How many hundreds of years after the end of slavery? They're auctioning us now in Tripoli. They are selling us in Tripoli now. Will it stop others from going and trying their luck? The answer is no. That's what makes you a black person. You can't reason. You don't reason very well. Not when people say it. They say, oh, it's wrong. You're being racist. No. That is why I don't believe in racism. I went for a job interview in England many years ago when I graduated, and they said, "Oh, we can't do this. You're overqualified. You're this. You're this. You're that." I was just looking at them. When they finished, they said, "Oh, one person met me and said, I don't think it's right. You should try and fight them." I said, "I'm not fighting them. Anything is their country. They can do whatever they like. If they do it in Biafra, then I can complain. This is not my country. Where I'm standing is not my. It doesn't belong to me. It's out of their kindness that they allowed me to come to their country to study and to work and to make me their citizen. Because they are kind to that extent. It's not for any other thing. So I'm not going to start arguing with them over if you give me a job or not. It's not my business. If you are, I said to the guy, if I'm angry, I will go and form my own business. I don't have time for useless black African self-pity. We're always pitying ourselves. At the end of the day, we come up with nothing, absolute zero. Something is happening in the zoo. No schools, no running water. Life is difficult. Every day you complain. Every day you complain. Do something about it, nothing. The person that came out to do something for you, you abandoned him to go and die. Now he knows there's something called one Nigeria. Nigeria is a parochial society. Everybody gravitates towards their own. It's only the Fulefus in Igbo land, in Biafra land, that will always go and try and crave acceptability from other people. Only them. That is why they can invade Barrister Ejiofor's home. How many lawyers in the north have they invaded their homes? I'm asking you. How many, I said? The answer is zero, because he's representing IPOB, because he's NNAMD1 Kanu's lawyer. That is why they're doing what they're doing. And some of you are hopelessly and foolishly clapping along the way because you belong to Nigeria and NNAMD1 Kanu wants to break Nigeria. Because of that, we will support every injustice against him. The same thing that Sahara reporters did before. Now they're getting it. I said to you, everybody that kept quiet throughout the travails, all the suffering, the pain and difficulties we went through and still going through, all of you will suffer the same. Do you think Alamajiri will stop? Buhari is dead. So they're using just the face of somebody that can do whatever they like without responsibility. As I will prove to you later on. Ejiofor said they came to my house 6:30 in the morning of that same day that they came to storm his home. Nobody was listening. They came to my house. I spoke to police, Ejiofor said. They said they called him to come. He wasn't answering. But you went to his house. They will not tell television that. They won't tell them this. They won't tell Amnesty that. They will not say that to the whole world who are watching and keenly following what is going on. Because they believe in lies. They are black and they lie. That is why in the Western world you can hardly open an account with a Nigerian passport. Because you people are liars. You believe in lies. You love lying. I don't lie because you can't do anything to me. If I tell you the truth, you can't do nothing. There is absolutely nothing you can do to me. So why do I need to lie to you? What for? If I tell the truth, I'm going to, what will you do? Nothing. You Nigerians should stop lying. You people are liars. You love lying to yourselves. Ejiofor spoke to the police. The police physically came to his house. And then when he finished, he started burning his house, which goes to show that somebody from Ejiofor's village asked them to burn his properties, to burn his house. That is the new craze. If they invade, they burn. They invade and they burn the houses. People are clapping for them. He's a soldier. He's a gallant. One stupid idiot. I don't know where they came from. They wrote something on one of those useless online rubbish. They're right. The man is from Bonny. One of the men killed is from Bonny, Abe. And because of that, there is tension in Bonny between Igbos. The idiot is so foolish. He doesn't know that Bonny is Igbo. He doesn't know that. Do you see how their brain function in the zoo? Do you see why I call Nigerians animals? You see why I call it? Because they are foolish. They cannot reason properly. You see that I've been calling them a zoo for a long time. People didn't understand it. Ejiofor have now realized why NNAMD1 cannot call Nigeria a zoo. Because in her own court, where she was sitting, inside the courtroom, these vandals came to abduct somebody in her own court, which is sacrilegious, never done anywhere in the world. She was running and her wig fell off. Even wig, this horse wig they wear, this white horse that makes them look, I don't know what they look like. They look like palm nut vulture. It fell off. Everyone was. A judge is running from DSS inside court. A judge running from DSS inside her own court. And you're telling me the country is normal. People are pretending, I'm a Nigerian, I want to represent Nigeria, as if life is just normal. Are you that stupid? And keep asking God, is this the type of people you put in Africa? What is in their brain? Is this sawdust? That they can't reason. Very well. Very, very sad indeed. Very, very sad. Very, very sad indeed, I tell you. Very, very terrible. Unprovoked attack at Ejiofor's home after burying his brother. After burying his brother, they came to kill him. And Emeka for things that they will love him. Look at what is Occurance. Nobody is more Fulani than him. He went to school in the north. But he has a very large heart. Forget about all the things we know about him. He has a very good heart. I'm telling you the truth. But I told him when I spoke, I said it's misplaced. That love you have for people, invest it in your own people only. Leave this Nigeria. I told him, leave this Nigeria. He didn't listen. I said, okay, you will see. And today he is the only criminal. Look at Buhari with 51 missing suitcases. Nobody investigated him. PTF, no. Abacha family, they're not in prison. Ganduje family, not in prison. Omar Diko's family, not in prison. Ibrahim Lamo, the former EFCC that stole heaven and earth, is not in prison. Ibrahim Tahir's family, they're not in prison. All the rogues in the Fulani, they're not in prison. It's only your own. And some of you are jumping up and down, celebrating your own. I only wrote that I warned him, he didn't listen. I'm not happy about it. Heaven knows I'm not happy about it. Not minding that they never supported what we are doing, of course. I don't mind. Not everyone has to. And today he's in prison. And the oil from his own state is what they are using. And the funniest thing is that they said he stole the money from Abia State. But now, Abia State is going to forfeit that money to the federal government of Nigeria. This is how they reason. And the judge is Alamajiri now. What is Sharia judge that didn't go to school, quota system. And you are clapping. And we are one Nigeria. Let's sing the national anthem. Tomorrow, some of you in Abuja will go to your useless offices being run by Alamajiri people as slaves. If you ask, I can go to Michael school, we have to pay children's school fees. We need to do this, we need to do this. always putting the need of the stomach over and above the prime concern, which should be your freedom. If not for anything, because of your pride and because you're human. This is Radio Biafra. We are live and direct. The time now is 8 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. This is a live presentation on this very day. Today is Sunday. Today is Sunday, the 8th of December. I should have come yesterday, but things happened. As you know, I lost my father. And a lot of things were going on, so I need to try and do things properly. And then I have to come on today. Everyone knows that every judicial system in the world has a lawyer, an advocate, and you don't touch that advocate. You just don't. But in the zoo, everything goes. They have managed to convince, not everybody, because some have now woken up, some newspapers. Once they keep writing rubbish, people will keep believing them, because Tinubu has to go. And let me also tell Tinubu tonight, your reign as the leader of Yoruba people is finished. Any day Showore comes out of prison, he is the new face of Yoruba nationalism. You're finished. I said this, and let me also say it now. You can try as much as you can, so they can detain him, they can frustrate him all you can. Any day he steps outside, he is the new face of Yoruba liberation, forever and ever. This Showore you're looking at will eclipse everything. Maybe he will come only close to Awolowo. Write it down on a piece of paper. Because every freedom fighter, you must go through pain, hardship, and difficulties. Some more than most. So people are complaining today and crying and wailing because of Showore, but he will come out. Eventually he will. If he doesn't capitulate, he will come out and he will lead his people to freedom. And now he knows that Nigeria is rubbish. That Nigeria you're fighting for is rubbish. Go and fight for Ududuwa. Go and fight for Yoruba liberation. That is what matters. And the Yoruba should stop thinking that it's about oil and gas. No, it's not about that. Allow me to repeat, we will give it to you for free. Absolutely free. The reason why the zoo police went to our barrister's home, Ejiofor'S, is because they know they have lost the case in Abuja. Because in Nigerian statute, there is nothing called secession. It's not a crime. But Channels TV will not hear. I don't know where those journalists went to school. Only heaven knows. The same way I told them that ECOWAS, they don't have any right to shut the borders down if you claim you're in one economic community. But people, in Africa now, people go to school for certificates. And after that, then the termites will eat it. You now start walking about with affidavit. They go to school, they learn nothing. They learn absolutely nothing. You don't go to harass an advocate and a counsel in an ongoing case. So, when the time comes next month to go to court, Nigerian police will come and say, Binta will say, is Ejiofor here? She knows what happened though. She said, is Ejiofor here? He's not here. Ejiofor ran away from my court. Ejiofor, you ran away from this court. Oh dear, Zoo. I'm being very honest with you. Sometimes I say to God, but this punishment is a bit much, to lead the people that can reason immediately is very good, but to lead people that you have to explain everything to is a bit difficult, especially if you're trying to get them to build a viable modern nation. Very difficult in Africa. Now, you see the important groundwork we are doing. Now you know why no African state is performing very well. Because what we are doing, this lecture we are giving on how to build a nation, was never done in Africa. Ezekiel, he was telling his people, come, let's have one Nigeria. Whereas Al-Majiri was busy laying the foundation to conquer everybody, which they have achieved today. Your own people, the same stupid mistake that Zeke made, all their so-called politicians are making today, even Obiano is making till this very moment. You don't ask yourself, this nonsense I'm doing in Anambra State, is there any governor doing the same thing in the north? Is there any Al-Majiri Fulani governor doing this rubbish I'm doing in my state? Yeah, the answer is no. They found Boko Haram, they kill people, they give them amnesty, they join the police and they join the army. But you're busy in your own village hunting your own people. What sort of human beings are you? If not, that we are very strong. I would have given up. I would say, oh, to these people, they are not worthy. Please, let me abandon them. But I knew that this is how some of them were before we started this very journey. I know some people will bear an Igbo name, a Biafra name, and be writing rubbish. I knew that from. In fact, it encourages me now. It doesn't dampen my spirit. I love it, to be honest with you. I love to be written about, criticized, and maligned. I love it. Because the more you're writing about us, the more you're writing about me, nobody knows who you are. Don't you know that? Nobody knows you. You make us more popular. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows you. They came to Ejiofor's home and Channels is writing rubbish. Yoruba media is writing pure rubbish. And I said it before, if Yoruba doesn't change, I'm telling you the truth, their own punishment will be worse than anything that any other tribe ever went through. Write it down on a piece of paper. Yoruba must stop supporting evil. Yoruba journalists must stop supporting evil. Yoruba journalists, you have seen what happened to show it. You must stop supporting evil. You have to stop and focus on the truth. NNAMD1 Kanu is fighting for Biafra. I'm not fighting for Dudu. I'm not asking. I'm not coming to conquer you. I'm fighting to be free. I am saying that what Britain created is wrong because I cannot go to Britain and create a nation for them. It's not just possible. Japan is doing well. Korea is doing well because they are in charge of their home, is their land. But this one, a white man will come all the way from Scotland and then come and build nation and say, your name is Nigeria. And you're foolishly and idiotically jumping up and down saying you're in Nigeria. Are you not insane? Are you sure your brain is correct? Ejiofor defeated them in every court he went to. Only Ejiofor defeated all of them. They bribed him and he said no. Anything they tell him, he will say, let me speak to my leader first. He'll first call me to say this is what they're saying. I'll tell him to forget those idiots and move on. The only reason for the unprovoked criminal invasion of Ejiofor's home to kill him is to stop him from going to court next month. The reason why Showore is in detention is because he had a meeting with me. That's all. It's actually me that they are frightened of. They are scared of IPOB. This one family. Today we had a new family in Lebanon, of all places. In Lebanon. There's an IPOB family in Lebanon. Our sister is calling me from Genoa saying, how do I join an IPOB family? All over the world. Now they have realized. People now know. That is not the same. I read one idiot who said, does it mean that this NNAMD1 Kanu we hate so much that he's right after all? Of course I'm right. You know I'm right. Don't let your little village envy get the best of you. Of course you know I'm right. And they say, oh, but he needs to speak and sound more presidential. Presidential to people who don't understand presidential speech? How is that possible? You want me to sound presidential to people who don't understand presidential speech? That channels will tell you that IPOB members attacked police in Ejiofor's home, and you believe them. When Orifite said it was not IPOB, police themselves confirmed it's not IPOB. It's about a local village masquerade dispute, which Emeka Ofo got himself involved in, and wanted to use it to burn and destroy Ejiofor's home. That's all. But all of you are dragging in IPOB. Oh, it's IPOB. IPOB killed police. IPOB killed police. Who told you that? Were you there? So when we say something is alleged, we showed you people who they killed. It's alleged. But when police say, oh, police attacked IPOB attacked police and killed 2 policemen. That is how evil you are. So people that write, Yoruba journalists that write that rubbish, that is how evil you are. And the evil will follow you all the days of your life. Awolo will never become the head of state of Nigeria. Do you know why? Because of what he did against Biafrans. The same way that Tinubu can never be the president of the zoo called Nigeria. If I thought the zoo can stay to 2023, it's not possible. Keep writing your evil rubbish. You will never succeed. Just because you want oil and gas to be flowing. And let me ask those who are from Niger Delta, the idiots who claim I'm a Niger Delta, I'm from South. That thing they're saying, that thing NNAMD1 Kanu is saying, I'm from Niger Delta. All those idiots. How many oil and gas millionaires do you have? How many oil and gas millionaires do Alamajiri have? And how many are in the West, in Yoruba land? How many do you have? That is how foolish. Maybe we are good at doing security, oil pipeline security guard. You see how they washed your brains, messed it up completely. That they have starved you so much that the little grain they give you, you're very grateful to them for it. I have said this story many times, and I want to say it again tonight. The former governor of Rivers State, Melford Okiro, these are people who joined their so-called Gowon, federal government of Nigeria, to sabotage Biafra. I had a meeting with him in 1997 in Stratford, in his house in Stratford in London. Melford Okiro, if you know him, MPN in Rivers State. Then went and said, oh, Awasa will, no, not, please, I'm sorry, not Awasa. Fulani Alamajiri will protect us. Because Awasa people are victims as well, they're messed up. As the same way everybody else is. Do you know what he said to me? He said to me that his greatest regret in life, that very day, he gave me 120 pounds, I'll never forget. 3 of us went there. The former governor of Rivers State, Melford Okiro, if you know him, of MPN. He said it was the greatest mistake of their life. That Biafra was the way to go. That we actually brothers. That we are one people. That when 10 people are sharing, that was why he gave me 120 pounds. That when 10 people are sharing 100 pounds, the 20 he gave, I don't know it was for transport. He said, when 10 people share 100 pounds, it is better than when 120 people share 100 pounds. Understand this very well. Some of you may know Ali Ekine. He's an Akwa learned man. He was the one that Gowon sent to Britain to go and rubbish Biafra. The daughter I used to broadcast with in 2009, Sokari Ekine, if you know her very well. He said his greatest wish in life is to have Biafra. Now they know better. That's what we are preaching. Very simple. A nation of freedom, founded on freedom, on the core principles of freedom. That's what we're looking for. Nothing more, nothing less. They came to kill Ejiofor, forgetting that the truth will come out. People are writing rubbish. IPOB this, IPOB killed 2 policemen. If we want to kill them, we'll go and attack an army barracks and kill all of them. Not just an ordinary or local, as they call them. An ordinary police recruit. A zoo without rule of law. The type of grammar they speak, I don't even understand it. In this democracy, we are preserving democracy. You brought a gun to a law court and you're preserving democracy by bringing armed thugs, government thugs, inside a courtroom. And people, and this UG, black people. Oh dear Lord, mercy. Have mercy. They claim 2 of the officers were killed by IPOB members. But there were other dead bodies, 4 in their van and burnt. So let me ask them, who drove the car to where to? But some of you don't even know that the car wasn't even burnt in Ejiofor'S compound. It's outside. On the road, another road altogether. Far away from the scene of the action. So you're saying people chase them down there to go and kill them and burn them? People who are unarmed? Some of you think that your petty envy of the successes of IPOB can, deter us, or even if I keep eating my own flesh and complaining somehow, IPOB will fall. You're dreaming. You're suffering from, that typhoid. If you have acute typhoid and you dream, you're in serious trouble. You'll be seeing all manner of things. If you're acute typhoid, you'll be seeing things that are not real. That is what they're suffering from. Thinking that your petty jealousy and envy can somehow drag IPOB down. You are demented. Your brain is not functioning very well. I assure you. We must proceed this very evening and very hastily. Now, the lawyers are saying that they're going to shut down the courts. And let me tell you what the NBA said. Not because of Ejiofor'S case, But because they invaded the court over Showore, what did they say? The NBA said that they are dismayed. Listen very carefully. When I call Nigeria a zoo, they complain. But let me tell you how they describe their own country, their own court. We are dismayed at the exhibition of primitivity. When I tell you Fulani are primitive, you didn't believe me. Now it's from the NBA. Now you can believe me. Primitivity, thuggery, insane passion for lawlessness. And I said it before. In all their lives, the Fulanis only move cattle from place to place. They are nomads. They drink the blood of the cattle. They don't know anything about law and order. They don't have anything about civil society. It's alien to them. Alien to them. Contempt. This is from the NBA, not from IBOB, not from me. Contempt and disrespect for the rule of law by the agents of the Department of State Services, DSS, within the presence of the Federal High Court in Abuja. As to show you, NBA, they have spoken their grammar as usual. Tomorrow now, they'll call their chairman and say, hey, chairman, you know that 2-bedroom flat you're struggling to complete in Agege? Come and take the money and complete it. Okay, now go out and say that the government is upholding democracy. And the idiot come out and say exactly that. Hunger. A black man who is hungry cannot be in a position that requires you to adhere rigorously to a very conscionable position at all times. I repeat, a hungry black man from Africa. You don't place a hungry black man in Africa in a position that requires one to hold on rigidly to a principled stance. Or else they will sell. Immediately they will collect money and they sell their position. Look at what NBA is saying. They have confirmed that Nigeria is a zoo. This is from the NBA. That they are primitive. When somebody is primitive and you're a thug, it's not the same thing that the lions are doing in Serengeti. with zebra and with wildebeest and the rest. With antelope and impala. They kill them to bring them down. Sometimes the hyenas come and attack the lions. That's what is happening in this zoo. Nobody knows which is which. That is why Nigeria is a zoo, a complete and utter zoo, where you have animals with green passport walking all over the place, like headless chickens who cannot reason very well. This is from your own MBA. Indictment from your own MBA. Indictment from your own MBA. Very foolish people. And the foreigner have also written about the Showore matter and confirmed it that the judge, Ijomo Ojukwu, was on the run from our own court. A judge. Tomorrow. So DSS only takes people to court. They know they're going to win, or where they can intimidate the judges to give them whatever they want. But when the case goes against them, they will say no, they won't obey it. They are keeping Nigeria as one. We must all work together towards this. They say that Yorubas are suffering. The Middle Belt people are suffering. The Hausas are suffering in the north. Let us break the zoo. Go and be in your country. We'll give you oil and gas for free. I'll get the UN to supervise it. You take oil and gas. We're not doing anything with the oil. Take it for free. We'll even send oil to West Africa for free. We don't need it. Because the greatest natural resource is your brain. It's your brain. You don't need oil and gas to become a developed nation. That is for lazy, African, useless, cursed people like Nigeria is. The only thing you need to develop is your brain. The white matter in your brain contains everything. Oil cannot manufacture a car for you, or build an aeroplane, or give you the technology that it will give you maybe laser or anything of that sort. It's just crude carbon, that's all. You can sell it and eat all the money which befits every rentier economy. I keep asking people all the time, show me a nation that is properly run by a Fulani man. Show me an advanced nation being run by a Fulani man. You can't show me, can you? But they're telling you they will keep ruling you. And it's not hate speech, it's love speech. And tomorrow you go to work. There are one idiot they call us one fool. I don't know where he comes from. I'm not even sure he's even able. They say he's a DSS spokesman. Afananya, or whatever rubbish the fool is called. People listen to my broadcast, they say, oh, I insult you because you people are. So when you see a wild animal on the road running, how do you address the wild? You say, oh, come, let's have a discussion. No, even on the road, you see a mad cow charging down on the road, insane cow. I don't say to the cow, come, let's have a discussion. I want to put this rope on your neck to control you. Look at Aba, people are dumping refuse in the middle of the road. All over the place. Checkpoints everywhere, more than over 5,000 checkpoints across Biafra land. You have politicians, you have so-called leaders, nothing is happening about it, and you're telling me you're a human being? People committing atrocities in the north, Boko Haram, or Fulani herdsmen, ISIS in West Africa, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, they're all in the north. No checkpoints, but in the east, there's checkpoints everywhere. And you're telling me you're okay. All you see is to go and write is IPOB. The Ejiofor should be very, very careful. I don't know, maybe Ejiofor gives him money every month to sustain him. We saw the nonsense he wrote, that he's banning IPOB. We will ban him from Orifite. Then he will know who is who. He should go and ask those who have tried us before what became of them. The Ejiofor writing all that rubbish, nonsense. Time will tell. This is Radio Biafra. We are live and we are at the time now. It's 21 minutes past 8 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. We are reaching the whole world on this very day because what is happening in the zoo is just terrible and the people cannot reason. I don't know why God placed me there, to be honest with you. I have no idea because it's a very big punishment. To say that somebody comes or has anything closely resembling an affinity with Nigeria is the worst curse that can befall anybody. Those who are senior advocates are complaining. You come to court. Then why do you go to court? Every day you go to court. Every day you go to court, nothing happens. The judge will give ruling and somebody. Now the DSS decides who has broken the law and who hasn't. And you're telling me you're in a democracy. And that walrus, Lawan, whatever he's called, that says he's the head of Senate. He said anything that Buhari wants us to do, we'll do for him. Which Buhari? The dead one or the small boy from Sudan? The thing we have forgotten. We were waiting for the right time and then we hit them. Then the zoo will collapse. Mad people everywhere. Mad people everywhere. Now, this is the hypocrisy of the zoo called Nigeria. Their hypocrisy stinks. And this is why. I keep saying it. I know some of you only have Channels Television to watch, but anybody getting their news from Channels TV, may Satan have mercy on your soul because you're outside the remit of God's protection. Only Satan can help you. I'm telling you the truth. The same Yoruba media, they reported herdsmen killed 5 mobile policemen, set 2 patrol vehicles ablaze in Benue. No time did Channels tweet that Fulani herdsmen kill police. No Fulani. Yet y'all are still living large. Their houses were not burnt. They killed 5 mobile police. Even Yoruba paper, Nation carried it. Tinubu's paper. But if it's in Biafra land, they will say kill. More. Can you imagine if 5 terror groups were to come from Biafra land? By now, Britain will station their gunships in the Bight of Biafra and be shelling us from there. Air Force will come, maybe from Russia, be bombing everybody to oblivion. But only the Fulanis, they have 5 frontline terror groups in the world. And those of you going to your offices saying I'm a civil servant, you don't see any of these things. You stupidly say one Nigeria because what matters to you is what the school in Jideka is going to go to. Jideka is going to a private school. That's what bothers you. Not what is happening to your people. That is why you're a black person. That is why blacks are wicked. And that is why we are suffering. That is why Africa is poor. Because of the way we reason. The level of wickedness in our brain is unimaginable. Go and think about it. Stop castigating and complaining. Ponder and reflect on what I've just told you. And see if it is not true. And then change after doing that. And become a better person. The way we all had to become better people in order to carry this very burden to liberate Biafra. They use the media to destroy our image. Look at how they are pushing this false narrative about IPOB because they now have no media. They keep pushing it. They keep policemen. IPOB killed. They even went to Amnesty. Can you say something now? Amnesty rushed and issued a statement without finding out the facts. It was not IPOB. IPOB was not at Ejiofor'S place. IPOB attended funeral and left. It is a masculine dispute between one Unko and Afo group inside Orifite. Nothing to do with IPOB. Absolutely nothing. Even the police acknowledged. But because of his Ejiofor'S Kanu's lawyer and IPOB, of course, it's big news everywhere. Big news everywhere. And they're jumping up and down like cattle. But they killed 5 Mopol in Benue. Nothing. No houses were burnt. You see all these Efulefus that when I was telling our people, I used to say it in those days, and I remember Ohaneze writing one very beautiful piece about how their IPOB say that Ohaneze was set up by the Fulani. Of course, they were set up by the Fulanis. They planted them everywhere in government houses, permanent secretary. If you want, you go and kneel down. You saw the pictures of them kneeling down. Your so-called elites, they're on their knees begging Alamajiri. Imagine how they will regard you. Imagine how they will regard you if they see your leaders kneeling down before them, begging them. Who are you then? You're nobody. These are the people you call elite. These are the people you call your leaders. Imagine they didn't go to school. They knelt down in front of him and they're begging him for position. And they're your leaders. They're the ones running Ohaneze. They always kneel down to beg. But I thank Chukwuka Kabiam. It's Alamaji that kneel down when they see me. Even as this thing is raging, it's them that kneel down when they see me. Even those in uniform. When I see them at checkpoints in those days, both army and police, they bow before us. But the same people go and kneel before them, and they're your leaders, and they give them contract to build a new Go-Onitsha Express Road, and they pocket the money and they become millionaires. And they're doing well. They are our leaders. Let Lord have mercy upon your ignorance. The ignorance is too much. But I must preach it so that you will change. Not because I hate anybody, of course. Everybody, if you come close to me, I don't hate anybody. Why should I? But it's for you to change, to reason like a human being. The white people are preeminent. Western Europe, the Western world, they are the forefront because of the way they reason. That's all. There is no magic to it. You see them, they go to the moon, they go to the sun, they do this, they do this. It's because of how they reason. It's not about going to native doctor. No, there is no jazz involved. Just brain, how they process information. Oh, there is flooding in so place. How do you prevent it from they build? Next time there'll be no erosion there. But there's erosion. Somebody's in a nearby Pentecostal church, mouthing rubbish, talking nonsense, invoking every spirit in the world. That is the work for engineers to do. Those that went to school, that term they're engineers. It's their job to assess the work and to do something about it. But some of you will not listen, will you? You're from Africa. Reasoning doesn't come very cheap. It doesn't come very cheap at all. An 18-year-old boy was killed because he is not Alamajiri. The same police, the same Nigerian police, that all of a sudden is now that Channels TV is now defending. 18-year-old boy. Police slapped him for nothing in Imo State because he is. That same nonsense cannot happen in the north. Some of you have forgotten in your tiny, tiny brains in that zoo called Nigeria that Jonathan went to the north and they stoned him. Nobody died. Can you imagine stoning the vehicle of anybody from the north down in the east? Air Force will come and bomb and carpet bomb everywhere. Obasanjo was head of state. He said 12 policemen were killed in Odi. He went there and he carpet bombed Odi. Whereas Boko Haram were busy killing and slaughtering people in the north. Ihejirika rose up to go and bomb them. The north said Ihejirika must be removed. Ihejirika must go for fighting Boko Haram. And Jonathan stupidly appraised and removed Ihejirika. Some of you don't know. So when we go against some of the politicians that don't support us, you must understand why we do it. It's out of anger. They supported.
When Buhari was alive, he supported Boko Haram. He was their chief negotiator, for goodness sake. These are the people now telling us about IPOB is a terrorist group. They want to make the... But Buhari, when he was alive, not this Jubril, this little boy that Abakari brought in for you, gullible fools to be following. Have you forgotten that Buhari was the named negotiator for Boko Haram? You have all forgotten. Zoo people, you have forgotten. What do you know? You have all forgotten. An 18-year-old boy killed in Imo State by police. Channels did not carry it. No nation, no Yoruba people carried it. No Yoruba TV, none. Because the boy is Igbo. Nobody gives a damn about him. He is not Fulani. And he has a lot to contribute to the zoo more than any Fulani, or more than all Fulanis put together. These are the things we learn every blessed day in the zoo. Nobody will write about it. Amnesty will not tweet about it. So the boy is not a human being. Those 4 people that they killed from IPOB, or in fact, Ejiofor did that 10, with their cops all over the bushes, they're not human beings. A mother didn't give birth to them. It's only Nigerian police that were born, not these people. Do you think under my leadership I will allow any IPOB life to be wasted without holding those responsible to account? Is that what you think? One Mr. Bassi and one Mr. Who? Who are they? Where do they come from? One Mr. Bassi. Mad people. Mad people. As somebody will say that Jubril is shining. That's shiny, Bobo. Look at his hands now. And tell me he's 82. Look at his shiny hands. You see if everybody is blind, deaf, and dumb in the zoo. After Jubril came, and they saw that this man cannot be Buhari, and I said, I knew that was the day. Believe you me, I sat and I asked God, tell me the formula you used to create black people in Africa, because there's something wrong with us. I'm telling you the truth. Before God and before man, there is something wrong with us as a race, as black people. We are insane, I'm telling you. That boy, you can see the back of his hand. You can see it. You can see that he's not as old as they made him to be. You can see it with your bare, naked eyes. But Yoruba is fixated on oil and gas from Biafra land. That is all that matters to them. All these Wayohane Bugari, let's go and tell them, if you don't give us this job, you know an Igbo man will come. What stupid country is that? These are the things people are afraid to say. I will say it because it's the truth. If it's paining you, you go and change. If it's paining you, you go and change. You go and change. Because we are unbuyable, unbribable. How much are you? What stupid money? What do I need money for? What stupid money do you think? Do you think I'm an ordinary? Do you think I'm a typical black African? Is that what you think? Because I am not, and I can never be. I went to Soka and I told my father that this is not a university here. I told my dad this thing here is not a university. Let me get me out of this place. Let me go and where people reason and study. That's how I went to England. If you don't know. Because people cannot reason. How can you say you are in a university? You are a graduate. You are a professor. You cannot reason. You rig elections for illiterates to be in power without certificate. And you say you're a professor. You're a lecturer. You are VC, vice chancellor. Mad people everywhere. I'm a proud Nigerian. Proud of what? Proud of your imbecility and stupidity. Proud of what? I'm asking you. Proud of what? Proud of what? I'm asking you. I'm a proud Nigerian. Proud of no electricity. Not even simple governance. Simple to obey court order. That even Abacha, the darkest days of Abacha obeyed court order. Not this very one. Because Buhari is not there. It's Abakari and the cabal. That you are too foolish as a Nigerian to be able to reason properly. And I can't help you. I cannot help you, I'm telling you. Even Jonathan is now complaining. When I said no election, they said, oh, you're taking money from APC. Okay, go and vote. You're taking money from PDP. That's how useless they are. Even Jonathan is now conceding that African politicians that have replaced coup now, they're going to, and oh my God, it's unbelievable. Exactly what I told Jonathan in 2015. that these people, they have the mindset of Islamic Brotherhood. Once they get into power, they won't want to leave. I told him to go to Enugu and declare Biafra. They will ask you to stay in office forever. He cowardly did not do it. Today, he's now reduced to just complaining and rambling on pages of newspapers. They say, I'm not insulting anybody, I'm just telling the truth. African politicians replacing military coup with political coup. That's what they're doing. So all you need to do is, if you want to be a governor, a senator, a House of Reps member, quietly go to Sokoto or to Daura, go and kneel down, let them tie turban on your head, and then they weigh your level of betrayal. If it's very high, then they give you that position. That's what they do. Some of us think, our distinguished senator, I look at these morons and I laugh at them. Distinguished what? From where? This one that they tied the bandage on their head before they made them their senator. All they need to do, look at Gogi, look at Bayelsa, look at every election, look at Edo, look at Oshun, look at Ekiti. All they need to do is to sit down quietly and write the result by INEC and say this result here is valid. Oh, it's democratic disposition. No, if you're not happy, don't do anything bad. Just quietly go to court. In that very court, they have all their judges appointed by themselves, confirmed by themselves. Then they will fund them and say, this person should go, that person should not go. This one is a high value traitor to their people, he should go. Move him forward. He win him in the Senate. The day you come out and say, oh, like Ejiofor Okalu did, I want to be the president of Nigeria, they will organize and put you in jail. Because every politician in the zoo is corrupt. All of them from A to Z, everybody. Look at Tinubu with bullion van in his house. He's not touched. Who did this to our people? Who did this to our people? Even Jata is lamenting. Now, if you say to them, the best way to stop this problem is by making sure that you paralyze the electoral system. Don't vote. So let us get this whole thing right. They won't reason. Said, no, but if you don't vote, you cannot. If you go and vote, they will rig it. It doesn't matter what you do. They will go in, they will write the result, and that's it. Still, it would be, and your average, typical, idiotic Nigerian will never get it. Never, ever. You can explain from now till the kingdom come, they won't get it. It's a democratic right. Go and get your PVC. Don't let them deny you of your PVC. They kept disturbing me every blessed day. I said, okay, people should go and vote if they want to. And look at it today. Everything rigged from top to bottom. They only allow their puppets in office. And that is the prelude. And now they have come. They have come. It's payback time. I thought Ejiofor Okalu. He's a nice man, to be honest. He has a good heart. Oh, don't get me wrong. Honestly speaking, he has Ejiofor Okalu in his heart. His heart is good, but it's the execution that is flawed. You know, I pray that Biafra will come on time so we can bring him out. We can give Zoo whatever thing they want and bring him out, bring him home. And I'm sure when he comes out, he will be a more patriotic. I wouldn't say more than myself, more than most people. But I think next time he comes out, he will be a very patriotic Biafran. It will be. It will be. This is Radio Biafra. We're live and we're direct. Even those you thought who, you know, our people, one day they make sense and the next day they start talking rubbish. Even people that we respect, like Abakoba, people that we have respect for. He's now saying that, you know, India being in Lagos and Abuja. Once you live in Lagos and in Abuja, I don't know what they give to them. I just don't know. Agitation for restructuring is hurting Nigeria, says Abakoba. I won't even bother going into that, to be honest with you. But that is to tell you, our people, that they change. We change it not. This IPOB, we don't change. That Biafra we are on is what we are going to remain on until it is restored and beyond. People you thought knew better. No. And in fact, this very case of Ejiofor Okalu should serve as a warning and as a lesson to everybody from the East. East, I mean, is Biafra. All the politicians. Your counterparts in the North are the ones sponsoring Boko Haram. They are the ones sponsoring ISIS in West Africa. And the funny thing is that every aid and every grant from the Western world goes to the North. They have done it very cleverly. They even came out openly to tell World Bank, you must carry out all the investments in the north. The World Bank came out and confirmed it. And some people are saying they're still in one Nigeria. We are Nigerians. I just can't understand it. Naman, the former Enugu State governor, they said he stole money from Enugu State, but the properties he bought, rather than returning it to Enugu State, they're taking it to federal government. See how clever they are. None of these people ever supported IPOB. I said not one single soul. I'm saying it live on air. If you did, you come out and say it tomorrow. They didn't support IPOB. Not till this, not one single soul. But all that money that should have gone into Biafra agitation, won us friends all over the world, giving us every arms we need to defend our homeland, is now going to federal government of Nigeria. Do you see how stupid they are? Oh, leave IPOB. They can't do anything. We are here. We are Nigerians. All of us are Nigerians. Look at it now. But in Naman, you're being prosecuted. But your fellow friends you served with from the north, the Fulanis, they are not touched. And you don't think there is something wrong? You don't think there's anything wrong with it? If they have any brain, they should just join IPOB. Go through the back door and say, how do we do this? But even if our names are not going to be known, how do we do this? Because it's only IPOB you have. We are fighting in Ebonyi State. One of us was beheaded yesterday, if you don't know. In fact, Chinasa, I want you to circulate, Chinasa Woru, I want you to circulate that very picture of our brother with his name before they say, oh, he has no name. With his name and his village. He was beheaded yesterday. Beheaded yesterday. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Chinasa Woru, I want you to actually spread this very news. Our brother's name is Chibike Ojoko. They call him a Barr. From Ndonwafo village in Iwago in Izi, LGA of Ebonyi State. He was killed by Fulani herdsmen yesterday as they invaded his village. Some of our youths are still missing from that very village. Izi, they attacked yesterday. They killed Chibike Ojoko and they cut off his head. The picture is there for the whole world to see. And Channels is busy writing nonsense. The police attack IPOB. They won't write this one. They will not write it. They will not write it. Anyway, as I have said, anywhere you catch Emeka for, you give him the IPOB treatment, but very serious. Very serious. We want the police to be called at the scene of the of that very event. Anywhere he's seen in America, in Europe, anywhere we catch Emeka for, he'll be eaten alive. It's finished. Then he will know. That little village vigilante he wants to stop to fight IPOB. Let us see. You are going to recruit IPOB to fight IPOB. Have you asked yourself why their so-called vigilante never works? Because it is IPOB all the way through. Everybody is IPOB. Everybody from top to bottom is IPOB. Apart from the corrupt individuals and the fulefus, the Janjaweed servants we have, like Emeka for, everybody is IPOB. So let's see who you're going to recruit. We want to see. Is it Justin Namani they're holding? They're also coming for the destroy debate. I'm sure all of you know that. They are coming for Ifan Yoba. Ifan Yoba is also in a very big mess. Ifan Yoba is in a big mess. They want to destroy everybody. Let me tell you what Tinubu and his Janjaweed friends are doing from the north. For those who do not know, they know there is a moral case for them or not for us. God forbid. There's a moral case, the way they see it in their eyes, for Igbo presidency come 2023. They feel there's a very strong case for that. Different IPOB agitation, that it will stop IPOB agitation. Now, instead of Tinubu and the North to fight very cleanly by saying what they're saying, because of IPOB and NNAMD1, Kanu, we don't think we should give them the presidency and all that nonsense, which is what they've been saying. You know what they've decided to do? They want to destroy everybody they feel, because they feel that once the likes of Ojus Okalu, Namani, or by once they come out and pool their resources together financially to support somebody, that person will have enough ground and enough gravitas to be able to mount a credible challenge. So what they've done is called wing clipping. They take all your people they feel that has up to maybe about $1 million or so, take all of them away. and then they will not have the ability to sponsor anybody to come out and run against Tinubu in 2023. That's what they're trying to do. If you don't know, let me tell you. That's what they're doing. Start to clip all their wings. That's all. And the way to do it is by imprisoning each and every one of them they feel is rich enough to mount an incredible challenge. But some of you cannot say it because you're blind, you are in a zoo. Your teachers never taught you anything. You never learned history at school. How you manage to come online, some of you sometimes will be writing the nonsense you're writing is beyond me, honestly speaking, because you cannot reason very well. As I said previously, and there's a lot of things I learned from my father that nobody could ever teach me. That's why after God is my father. You know, those of us that grew up in the village, you see your father is a demigod. In those days, you will see your father in the kitchen. He's not going to bathe you. He's not going to tell you, I love you and all that nonsense. But you know he loves you. And you know he wants. I learned morally everything that I know today. I learned from my father. I used to ask my father, why is it that every time I go to my friend's house, sometimes when people knock on their door, their father will tell them to go and tell the person I'm not here. I said to my father, why don't you sleep in the afternoon? And when somebody knocks on the door, we can tell them that you're not here. My father will say that is not a good thing to do. If you don't, he replied me in Igbo adage. Anytime somebody knocks on the door, you must open for that very person. You don't know if that person is in distress and needs your help. You don't know. So you must open. So I asked him, but he said that is why no policeman ever came to my house all my life. I never saw one policeman there. Even when my father was the king of my people, sorry, the traditional ruler, not one person came to say they're making a case. Because they know that his judgment is upright. Nobody can come to them and say, my father took community land and sold it as most other traditional rulers do, or that he went into an agreement with the government to impoverish his people. That is not possible. When he was a councillor basically, my father was a councillor in early 60s. All the scholarship they gave him, people can testify till today that he gave it out to everybody. Not one single person from my family benefited from it. He gave it to others. My father was a councillor in early 60s. These are the things that people don't actually understand. That our morals came built from home. It's not something we just read or we acquired or we learned. No, it came from home. If your hands are clean, anytime somebody knocks on your door, you will always open because you have nothing to fear. That is something that our people need to learn and learn very fast, especially those of us who are within IPOB and carrying out this very, very noble work. They are looking for family, but none of them is safe. Not one single soul is safe. If they have any brain, they should come and join IPOB, and we all know that. That's what they need to do. They can come through the back door. Because they can't keep taking them one after the other. It's not just possible. It's not just possible. They are doing to us what Fulani did to our Hausa people. They first of all divide everybody, separate the masses from their leaders, and then pick up their leaders one, and then replace them with Fulani people. That's why everywhere in the Fulani, you have an emir, no longer king, as I keep saying all the time. If you believe in one Nigeria, look at average Hausa. Stop saying Hausa Fulani. That is rubbish. That's not like Hausa Fulani. Fulani Hausas are their slaves. Imagine if Fulani were educated. By now we'll be gone. The only thing saving us is their illiteracy and their primitive nature. That's the only thing saving us. From if not by now, everybody will be gone by now. The little that they're doing is because the British taught them how to do it. That's why they do what they do. Or you don't know. They said the government is considering, even T.A. Are they investigating him? All of them, they'll be swept away. Because they know IPOB won't rise up and say, no, don't. We fought for Desi and Madeke. She's not still in England. We fought. We fought in everywhere we can. She's not IPOB, by the way. But we fought for her. The same way I fought for Ibori, as you all know. My argument then still subsists till this very day. until you start putting Fulani people in jail. You have no right to jail other people. As simple as that. They say charity begins at home. Nigeria runs a very parochial, narrow-minded, tribal-based politics. So start from your own people. Because Buhari is not alive. It is Abba Kyari that is running the show. And they all know it. They all know it. And as in keeping with the zoo and their mentality, they always hire protesters. Some came to court saying, oh, you must prosecute a protester storm court, demand prosecution of Shower. And some journalists actually write this nonsense. Some journalists actually write this garbage. They pay them 100 naira. And that's a black person for you. The man in court is there fighting for a better life for you and your children. But the best thing you can do is to come out to protest against him. There is nothing called one Nigeria, and it can never be. Not now, not tomorrow, ever. Can never be. The sooner everybody realizes this, the better for you. They will come to your village, they'll pick one man from your village, they useless the fool, they use the fool and they dump him. That's all they can do. That's all they can do. But your lot will never improve. Your life will never improve. I was listening to a Kunife senator, I think she is now, complaining about the state of the roads in Anambra, or the one in Amanse, linking Anambra to Enugu. She's a senator, but she's complaining. She has all the money in the world, but she's complaining. Because those that gave the money to build the road, they ate it. And they're your leaders. You're hailing them. You see them tomorrow, you hail them. That they are the leaders we should all look up to. But the money for the good road is in his pocket. And you're telling me that people are okay. Before we bring the program to a close this very evening, I want to remind everybody of what one of the members of Fela's family, the Kuti family, said. Sheun, you know him, Sheun Kuti, and he summarized it very well. One thing about the Kuti family is that they always stand on the side of the truth. That's what I love about them. Always truth. From the mother to Fela to everybody, truth. You may not like what they're saying, but it's the truth. When Fela called the Dulad of Daura the beast of no nation, people didn't quite understand it. It was the same with the white people that ignored what Fela said and tried to put the Dulad in power before his demise, and they went to Sudan to go and bring in this new recruit. You know what he said? He said, Buhari's biggest weapon is knowing that Nigerians will never stand up for those that stand up for them. Very simple. What this man is saying is that if you're fighting for Nigeria, to save the rest of Nigeria, you are on your own. Because Nigeria should not have existed in the first place. Everybody gravitates towards their ethnicity, their tribe, or their religion. That's all. They will never stand up for you. But of course, we are IPOB. IPOB put their lives on the line to make sure that I come out of prison. They put their lives on the line to make sure that I live to restore Biafra. Would they do that for a Nigerian? Would they do that for a Nigerian? If we come out, if I announce that I'm coming to a particular place in Biafra land, people will not go to market that very day. Everywhere will be every complete standstill to a halt. We don't give them a dime, not one dime. Instead, they contribute towards what we do. As I said before, a generation will remember IPOB. You see that name, IPOB? It will stay forever and ever. Every generation on this earth, man, woman, and child, must revere, must pay homage to IPOB. Forever and ever. As long as there's a Biafran born anywhere on this earth, that name IPOB will be revered until the end of time. If you're fighting for Nigeria, you're on your own. Because the cabal, they know. My only disagreement is that they keep calling Buhari. But you know Buhari is there. You know Buhari is no more. You know that very well. But for the fear of IPOB and NNAMD1, using it to divide Nigeria is why they keep holding on to it, that is Buhari. They know that. Then, of course, everybody. If you have common sense, you know it's not Buhari now. Do you need to even see all the wealth of evidence we have to believe? Because you're black, any day a white man says it now, we'll believe the white man. When I say that blacks are inferior, people don't understand. Because NNAMD1 Kanu saying it is a black African, of course, nobody will pay any attention. Any day a white man says it now, you see, they say, oh, it's true. That is black people for you. At least if you cannot listen to anybody, try and listen to Fela. Try and listen to Fela. And to bring everything to a close this very evening, our people don't reason. When I say that blacks don't reason, I keep saying it I've been repeating it this evening. Black people, there is something wrong with our brain. You see, black people, we have a debilitating problem. That problem is in our brain, the way we analyze information. You know that Aisha Buhari is meant to be the first lady of the zoo. Aisha Buhari came out in Vanguard newspaper of December the 7th and said, bad people have taken over the country from us. Bad people have taken over the country from us. And you still believe that her husband is alive. You know, the woman, she has given you every clue on this earth. But because, oh dear me, this UG, black. What is wrong with us? Who took over the country? Bad people. Are they in APC? Are they in PDP? Is APC not in power? Who are these bad people? This is the first lady. If this thing were to happen in a place like Europe or in America, the world will come to a standstill. That's because it's in the zoo. Animals are not interested. They are moving all over the place. Danger is coming. They're busy eating grass. They're busy eating grass. Some persons are using social media to bring down the government, accuse the government of ignoring issues. Aisha Buhari, the bad people have taken over the country from people who are supposed to be in charge. From the people who are supposed to be in charge. How else do you want her to say it? Before you realize that Jubril is actually from Sudan. But it will happen now. One day, you know, it's like pregnancy. You can't cover it forever. After a while, it will burst open. One day, the truth will be told. And by then, people will come to IPOB, will come to us and ask for forgiveness. We will not forgive them. You see this Jubril saga. One day, it will come to a head that people will say, oh, we are sorry, as some of them are saying now. And we go, oh, how are we going to believe what NNAMD1 Kanu is saying? These IPOB people, how are we going to, I'm ashamed to actually say that they are right. Of course, we've been right all along. But we don't like the way they deliver the message. How do you want it delivered? I tell you the raw truth. You may not like it, but it is the truth. And Aisha Buhari have said it many, many times. Rescue us from the cabal. But you people are too busy planning 2023, 2029, 2058, 2099 to realize that your lives are actually in danger. With the time now standing at 2 minutes to 9 p.m. in the Holy Land of Biafra, I wish to make the following announcement. Very, very important. This is for IPOB only. The following announcement. Please, it's a special announcement pertaining to IPOB family meetings worldwide. The following persons are hereby suspended for ill discipline and failure to follow established guidelines. Anybody associated with the bank fiasco in Texas, in America, is from this very moment suspended from IPOB. You see, our people must learn to be disciplined. I remember the scriptures very well. I have it here beside me. When Moshe, that is, after leading the Israelites out of Egypt through Red Sea and parts of the wilderness, went up Mount Sinai to go and get the commandment from Elohim. Before he came down, people that claimed they know. Because the one who was going up, they asked him, what are you going to do? He said he's going to see God for guidance on what they're going to do, for his laws. The people down immediately brought out their necklaces and their trinkets and formed a graven image. So as Moses is climbing up to go and see that God is claiming to go and see, let us form our own here in the meantime. That is what those in America did by trying to preempt us We wanted to establish a bank, but it's not for commercial banking, it's for a purpose. And I told them in confidence, we want to establish a bank in America for a particular purpose. They went behind our back and was doing their rubbish. All of them are here, hereby, I should say, from this very moment, removed from IPOB. Suspended. If you deal with them, you talk your rubbish for a few months, and that'll be it. Then you go and start opening fake accounts, and that'll be it. But if you're sensible, you will serve your suspension and come back and become a better person. If you're associated with any bank opening business, associated with it, you are hereby suspended from this very minute, from IPOB. We have no bank in America. I'm making that very clear tonight. For those who are deaf, let them hear me. We have no bank in America. And those who established or promoted this very bank are suspended from all IPOB activities. We informed some people in confidence about establishing a Biafra bank. I didn't say it was a commercial bank. Never, ever, ever. By announcing the formation of such a bank, which should have been kept secret, they have effectively ruined that very project. It will no longer take effect in the USA. We are a government in waiting. Therefore, we can't afford to allow every ill-disciplined and badly timed project to distract us from what we are doing. Black people are known for petulance and poor discipline, but such stupid attitude will not be tolerated in IPOB. Not now, not never. I didn't say you shouldn't form your own bank. Go and join another group and do that rubbish. There, not within IPOB. Another idiot from that same Texas tried the same nonsense before, and look at where they are today. You don't try IPOB. It is command and control. If you cannot be disciplined enough to follow orders, you get out. We're not here to joke and mess about. In Iguacha, there is one Emeka Mbamara. He is expelled, not suspended, expelled from IPOB. Emeka Mbamara is expelled from IPOB. And the illegal cabinet he set up are hereby expelled from IPOB too. Anybody dealing with them will also be expelled. I warned several that Iguacha is under the coordinatorship of David Njoko and nobody else. No group, no warrior zone, no frontier, no lion squad, nothing. IPOB family, we are one and indivisible. If you like, you can join other fools, but there is nothing like warrior, lion squad, or frontiers. It's only one IPOB family under the leadership of David Njoko. In Munich, in Germany, we had some issues. Some people used the name of IPOB to collect money from the Bavarian authorities without accounting for it, but instead chose to spend it on a useless party where they awarded contracts to themselves to fry puff-puff. Some people got contract to fry puff-puff, some did meat pie with money they collected on behalf of IPOB from the Bavarian government in Munich. Rather than account for that very money or use it for the project that we have back home, people are dying, people are short, we are paying hospital bills, taking care of people. Instead, they called for a party. And when the Bavarian authorities asked them to account for the money given to them, what they did with it within IPOB, they now hastily arranged for a rally. And I gave the order to the European rep that that rally should not go ahead, but they went ahead and did it because they have already committed themselves. If they don't do it, they will go to jail in Germany because you cannot collect money from government to do IPOB project and not do it. That's what they did. You will all recall that I went to Germany early this year. I had meetings with them. I resolved all the issues in Munich. And I said to each and every one of them, you must pay the dues you have not paid for years. They never did. Some of them never did. All the interested in should be answering coordinator, giving people papers who shouldn't have papers, giving people assistance, not people who are Biafrans, collecting money from people and giving them papers to go and apply for asylum. They think that IPOB is another zoo project, another Nigerian project, another project full of fraudulent activities. We can't allow such rubbish, and they know it. I won't allow it. They collected money instead of accounting that money to IPOB, or at least taking care of our people who are injured or bereaved families back home, grieving families and bereaved families back home. They ended up hosting party and frying puff-puff and meat pie. These are the people that claim they're hardcore. They know what we are doing. Anyway, of course, we are millions all over the world, so some bad eggs are bound to be found amongst us. And in that very regard, Longinus Amadi is hereby expelled from IPOB in Munich, Germany. Anybody dealing with him, you are on your own. Expelled. Expulsion complete from IPOB. He committed an unpardonable crime against IPOB. Unpardonable. If you don't know how to follow others, you shouldn't join IPOB. If you must follow others. You must. That is why we are where we are today, respected all over the world. One chain of command. You must be loyal to central command. If you cannot be, then you get out. Small armies defeat big armies because of discipline. If you don't know, go and watch it anywhere in the world. Observe it. Once an army is disciplined, they can achieve anything. But if you're not, you can't go very far. We don't need ill-disciplined people. If you know you cannot obey your superiors in IPOB, your coordinators and your reps, then you get out. We don't need you. We don't. We need a disciplined movement to be able to deliver on our core objectives. As simple as that. Longinus Amadi is hereby expelled. Frederick Onyale, Sabinos, Waje Bichi, and Tochukwu Emefu, they are also suspended from IPOB with immediate effect. Suspended. If you support evil, you will be suspended. This is IPOB. We're not messing about here. That ends our program for this very evening. I thank you all for listening. And our security all over the world must make sure that these aforementioned people do not participate in any IPOB activities. They don't participate at all, at all, at all. Until we announce something to the contrary. They don't participate. They are no longer part of IPOB. Thank you very much for listening. You must always know that this very platform, this hallowed and sacred platform, this very IPOB, will restore Biafra. Be rest assured. Have no fear and have no doubt. That is why Biafra is our religion. Biafra is our religion. Here on Radio Biafra is where we worship, and Chukwokika Biama Binigwe is our God. Thank you for listening from me, from here. It is good evening.